Think you need full sun and a big backyard to grow your own food? That's one of the biggest myths in gardening. The truth is, some of the most productive crops actually prefer shade and thrive in containers. After 3 decades of growing, I've put together 30 crops that flourish in pots, shade, and the smallest spaces. Stay tuned for number 28, a fruit most gardeners overlook, plus a bonus tip at the end that could change how you garden. The first container crop we need to talk about is leaf lettuce. This is hands down one of the easiest vegetables to grow in shade in small spaces. The variety I recommend is black-seeded Simpson, which performs exceptionally well in zones 2 through 11. That means nearly everyone watching can grow it. What makes leaf lettuce so perfect for containers is its shallow root system. You only need about 4 to 6 inches of soil depth, so even a window box works beautifully. Plant your seeds about a 1/4 inch deep and space them 4 inches apart. Within 45 days, you'll be harvesting tender leaves. The real magic happens when you use the cut and come again method. Instead of pulling the whole plant, just snip the outer leaves and let the center keep growing. You can get multiple harvests from a single planting this way. Give it 3 to 4 hours of sunlight and consistent moisture, and you'll have fresh salads all season long. The second crop that deserves your attention is spinach. If you've struggled with spinach bolting too quickly in hot sun, growing it in partial shade actually works in your favor. Bloomsdale Longstanding is the variety I trust most, and it thrives in zones 2 through 11. This heirloom has thick, crinkled leaves with outstanding flavor. Container size matters here. Choose a pot at least 6 inches deep with good drainage. Sow seeds 1/2 inch deep and about 3 inches apart. Spinach germinates best in cooler soil, so spring and fall plantings work wonderfully. In shaded conditions, the leaves stay tender longer and resist that bitter taste that comes from heat stress. You can start harvesting baby leaves in just 25 days or wait 45 days for full-sized leaves. Like lettuce, spinach responds well to cut and come again harvesting. Just take the outer leaves first. Keep the soil consistently moist, but not waterlogged, and you'll enjoy harvests for weeks on end. The third choice gardeners absolutely love is Swiss chard. This leafy green is a powerhouse in containers and handles shade better than most vegetables. Bright Lights is my go-to variety because it adds stunning color to your patio while delivering excellent harvests. It grows well in zones 3 through 10. Swiss chard develops a deeper root system than lettuce or spinach, so give it a container at least 8 inches deep. Plant seeds about 1/2 inch deep and thin seedlings to 6 inches apart once they emerge. One of the best things about chard is its productivity. A single plant can produce leaves for months when you harvest properly. Start picking outer leaves when they reach 6 to 8 inches tall, leaving the inner growth to continue developing. Swiss chard tolerates heat better than spinach, so it won't bolt as quickly in summer. It also handles light frost, extending your growing season on both ends. Water regularly and watch those colorful stems brighten up even the shadiest corner of your garden. Now, if you're finding this video helpful so far, I'd really appreciate it if you'd hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps this video reach more gardeners like yourself who would also find this information helpful. All right, let's continue. The fourth crop on our list is arugula. If you love peppery greens in your salads, arugula delivers bold flavor in the smallest of spaces. The Astro variety is my top pick because it matures quickly and handles shade like a champion. It grows in zones 3 through 11, making it accessible to gardeners across the country. Arugula has a shallow root system, so a container just 4 to 6 inches deep works perfectly. Scatter seeds lightly on the surface and cover with a thin layer of soil, about 1/8 of an inch. Seeds germinate in just 5 to 7 days when soil temperatures are between 40 and 55 degrees. Here's where arugula really shines for shady spots. Full sun actually makes the leaves taste overly bitter and speeds up bolting. Partial shade keeps those leaves tender with a pleasant, mild peppery bite. You can start harvesting baby greens in as little as 21 days. For continuous supply, sow new seeds every 2 to 3 weeks throughout the growing season. This simple practice keeps fresh arugula on your table from spring through fall. The fifth container crop worth growing is green onions. These slender alliums take up almost no space and tolerate low light conditions remarkably well. Evergreen Hardy White is the variety I recommend because it lives up to its name with exceptional cold hardiness in zones 3 through 10. You can grow green onions in containers as shallow as 4 inches, though 6 inches gives the roots more room to develop. Plant seeds a 1/4 inch deep and just 1/2 inch apart. They don't mind being crowded. What I love most about green onions is how forgiving they are. They handle neglect better than most crops and keep producing even in spots that get only 3 hours of light. Harvest by snipping the green tops and leaving about an inch above soil level. The plant regenerates new growth, giving you multiple harvests from one planting. For an even faster start, plant root ends saved from store-bought green onions. Push them an inch into moist soil and watch new greens emerge within days. It's one of the most satisfying tricks for beginner gardeners. The sixth crop that fits perfectly in small shady spaces is bok choy. This Asian green has become a favorite among container gardeners for good reason. Toy choy is a miniature variety that matures at just 4 to 6 inches tall, making it ideal for the smallest pots. It thrives in zones 4 through 10 and actually prefers cooler, shadier conditions. Use a container at least 6 inches deep with quality potting mix. Sow seeds a 1/4 inch deep and thin seedlings to 4 inches apart once they develop their first true leaves. Bok choy grows surprisingly fast in the right conditions. You can harvest baby leaves in 30 days or wait 45 days for full heads. The crisp white stems and tender green leaves work beautifully in stir-fries and soups. Partial shade helps prevent bolting, which happens quickly when bok choy gets too much heat or sun. Keep the soil consistently moist and watch for slugs, which love these tender leaves. A copper tape barrier around your container works wonders for keeping them away. The seventh crop every shade gardener should consider is kale. This nutritional powerhouse handles low light better than almost any other vegetable. Dwarf Blue Curled is the variety I suggest for containers because it stays compact while producing abundant harvests. It grows beautifully in zones 3 through 10. Kale needs a deeper container than lettuce or spinach. Give it at least 8 to 12 inches of soil depth for proper root development. Plant seeds 1/2 inch deep and space them 8 to 12 inches apart. Those curly blue-green leaves look gorgeous on a patio or balcony. What makes kale special is its tolerance for tough conditions. It handles frost, heat, drought, and shade better than most greens. In fact, a light frost actually sweetens the flavor by converting starches to sugars. Start harvesting outer leaves when they reach the size of your hand, always leaving the central growing point intact. A single kale plant can produce leaves for 6 months or longer with proper care. Water deeply when the top inch of soil feels dry, and your kale will reward you generously. The eighth crop on our list is mint. This fragrant herb practically begs to be grown in containers because it spreads aggressively when planted in the ground. Spearmint is my recommended variety for its classic flavor and vigorous growth in zones 4 through 9. Growing mint in pots keeps it contained while giving you endless fresh leaves for teas, desserts, and summer drinks. Use a container at least 8 inches deep and wide. Mint grows from cuttings faster than seeds, so grab a few stems from a friend's garden or the grocery store. Remove the lower leaves. Place the stems in water until roots form. Then transplant to your container. Partial shade suits mint perfectly. Too much sun can scorch the leaves and intensify the flavor past the point of pleasant. Keep the soil consistently moist because mint loves water more than most herbs. Harvest by pinching stem tips regularly, which encourages bushier growth and prevents flowering. Once mint flowers, the leaves lose some of their potency. With minimal effort, one pot of mint supplies more than most families can use all season long. The 9th container crop we need to cover is parsley. This humble herb deserves far more attention than it typically receives. Italian flat leaf is the variety I prefer because it offers superior flavor and performs beautifully in partial shade. It grows well in zones 4 through 9 and produces dense foliage throughout the season. Parsley develops a long taproot, so choose a container at least 8 to 10 inches deep. Soak seeds overnight before planting to speed up germination, which can otherwise take 3 weeks or longer. Sow seeds a 1/4 inch deep and thin seedlings to 6 inches apart. Patience pays off with parsley because once established, it produces prolifically for many months. Harvest outer stems first by cutting at the base of the plant, leaving the inner growth to continue developing. Regular harvesting actually encourages more production. Parsley handles 3 to 4 hours of sunlight just fine and stays productive well into fall. A single plant provides enough fresh parsley for most home cooks. The flat leaf variety holds its flavor better in cooking than curly types, making it the practical choice for kitchen gardeners. The 10th crop that thrives in shade and small spaces is cilantro. If you've ever bought cilantro from the store only to watch it wilt within days, growing your own solves that problem entirely. Slow Bolt is the variety I always recommend because it resists flowering longer than standard types. Cilantro grows in zones 3 through 11 and actually prefers cooler, shadier conditions. Use a container at least 6 to 8 inches deep with excellent drainage. Sow seeds 1/2 inch deep and space them 2 inches apart. Here's something many gardeners don't realize. Cilantro bolts quickly in hot sun, turning bitter and sending up flowers before you've had a decent harvest. Partial shade extends your harvesting window significantly by keeping plants cooler. Begin harvesting outer leaves once plants reach 4 to 6 inches tall. For a continuous supply, practice succession planting by sowing new seeds every 2 to 3 weeks. When plants do eventually bolt, let them flower and collect the seeds, which are the spice known as coriander. This gives you 2 harvests from 1 planting. The 11th crop perfect for container growing is thyme. This Mediterranean herb adapts surprisingly well to partial shade and requires very little attention once established. Lemon thyme is my favorite variety because it adds a bright citrus note to dishes while staying compact enough for the smallest containers. It thrives in zones 4 through 9. Thyme needs excellent drainage above all else. Use a container at least 6 inches deep, filled with a mix of potting soil and sand or perlite. Plant seedlings or divisions 6 inches apart and water sparingly. Overwatering kills thyme faster than any other problem. This herb actually grows more compactly in partial shade than in full sun, making it ideal for small spaces. Harvest sprigs by snipping stems just above a leaf node, which encourages branching and bushier growth. Thyme leaves retain their flavor well when dried, so harvest extra for winter. Use. The tiny flowers attract beneficial pollinators to your container garden. One established thyme plant lasts for years with minimal care, making it one of the most rewarding herbs you can grow. These slender, onion-flavored herbs grow beautifully in partial shade and fit even the tiniest containers. Common chives perform reliably across zones 3 through 9, returning year after year with minimal care. Their grass-like appearance adds texture to container arrangements while providing a steady supply of mild onion flavor. A pot just 6 inches deep and wide accommodates chives comfortably. Plant seeds a 1/4 inch deep or divide an existing clump from a fellow gardener. Chives form tidy clumps that expand slowly over time without becoming invasive. Harvest by snipping leaves to within 2 inches of the soil, and new growth emerges within weeks. The purple pom-pom flowers that appear in late spring are completely edible and make beautiful garnishes. Removing flowers before they set seed keeps the plant focused on leaf production. Chives tolerate a wide range of conditions, from full sun to partial shade, making them forgiving for beginners. They also return reliably each spring, giving you years of harvest from a single planting. The 14th crop that performs wonderfully in containers is radishes. These quick-growing root vegetables deliver the fastest gratification of anything on this list. Cherry Belle is my recommended variety because it matures in just 22 to 28 days and produces perfectly round, bright red roots. Radishes grow in zones 2 through 10 and handle partial shade without complaint. The key to container radishes is loose, stone-free soil. Use a pot at least 6 inches deep and fill it with fine potting mix. Sow seeds half an inch deep and 1 inch apart, then thin seedlings to 2 inches apart once they emerge. Crowded radishes produce tops without developing proper roots. Partial shade actually benefits radishes by keeping the soil cooler and preventing the hot, pithy texture that develops in full sun. Keep the soil consistently moist for the crispest roots. Harvest promptly when shoulders push above the soil line because radishes turn woody if left too long. Succession plant every 10 days for a continuous supply of these peppery, crunchy treats throughout the growing season. The 15th container crop on our list is strawberries. Many gardeners assume strawberries need full sun and large garden beds, but the right variety thrives in containers with partial shade. Alpine mignonette produces small, intensely flavored berries on compact plants, perfect for hanging baskets and small pots. This variety grows well in zones 4 through 9 and tolerates shadier conditions than standard strawberries. Use a container at least 8 inches deep with excellent drainage. Strawberries hate sitting in wet soil, so add extra perlite to your potting mix. Space plants 6 to 8 inches apart and keep the crown at soil level, not buried. Alpine strawberries don't send out runners like conventional types, making them ideal for containers where spreading is unwanted. They produce fruit continuously from late spring through fall, rather than in one big flush. The berries are smaller than grocery store varieties but pack incredible sweetness and aroma. Pinch off flowers for the first few weeks after planting to help plants establish strong roots before fruiting begins. The 16th crop perfect for small space gardening is peas. These climbing vegetables produce surprising yields in containers when you choose the right variety. Little Marvel is a dwarf bush type that grows just 18 inches tall, eliminating the need for elaborate trellising. Peas thrive in zones 3 through 9 and actually prefer the cooler conditions that partial shade provides. Select a container at least 8 inches deep and wide to accommodate the root system. Sow seeds 1 inch deep and 2 inches apart in early spring or late summer. Peas fix nitrogen from the air, so they need less fertilizer than most vegetables. A small support of twigs or a short tomato cage keeps plants upright as pods develop. Harvest peas when pods feel plump, but before seeds bulge visibly through the pod wall. Picking frequently encourages more flower and pod production. Peas struggle in hot weather, so afternoon shade extends the harvest window into early summer. The tender pods and sweet peas taste nothing like frozen varieties from the store. The 17th crop that deserves a spot in your container garden is bush beans. These productive plants yield impressive harvests without the poles and strings that climbing beans require. Provider is the variety I recommend because it tolerates cooler soil, light shade, and produces reliably in zones 3 through 10. Bush beans mature in about 50 days and keep producing for several weeks with regular picking. Use a container at least 8 inches deep to give roots room to develop. Sow seeds 1 inch deep and 3 inches apart after all danger of frost has passed. Beans germinate quickly in warm soil, usually within 7 to 10 days. Partial shade slows production slightly, but keeps plants healthier during hot spells. Water at soil level, rather than overhead to prevent fungal diseases on the leaves. Harvest beans, when they snap crisply and before seeds create visible bumps along the pod. Picking every 2 to 3 days keeps plants producing new flowers and pods. A single container of bush beans provides enough fresh green beans for regular family meals throughout summer. The 18th crop on our list is broccoli raab. This slightly bitter Italian green grows faster than regular broccoli and handles containers beautifully. Rapini spring raab matures in just 40 to 60 days and thrives in partial shade across zones 3 through 10. The leaves, stems, and small florets are all edible, giving you multiple textures from one plant. Choose a container at least 8 inches deep with good drainage. Sow seeds a 1/4 inch deep and thin seedlings to 4 inches apart. Broccoli raab bolts quickly in heat and full sun, so partial shade actually extends your harvest window. Begin cutting when flower buds appear, but before yellow blooms open. The slight bitterness mellows significantly when sautéed with garlic and olive oil, which is the classic Italian preparation. After your first harvest, side shoots develop and provide additional cuttings for weeks. This green tolerates light frost, making it perfect for spring and fall container gardening. Few crops deliver this much flavor and nutrition this quickly in such small spaces. The 19th crop that thrives in containers and shade is mustard greens. These spicy, nutritious leaves add bold flavor to salads and cooked dishes alike. Southern Giant Curled is my preferred variety because it grows vigorously and handles partial shade across zones 3 through 11. The large, frilly leaves look attractive in containers while producing abundant harvests. Use a pot at least 6 to 8 inches deep with quality potting mix. Sow seeds a 1/4 inch deep and thin seedlings to 6 inches apart. Mustard greens germinate quickly, often within 4 to 7 days, and reach harvestable size in just 30 to 40 days. Full sun intensifies the peppery heat to uncomfortable levels for many palates, so partial shade produces milder, more versatile leaves. Harvest outer leaves first, when they reach 4 to 6 inches long, leaving the center to keep producing. Young leaves work best in salads, while larger, older leaves mellow beautifully when cooked. These greens tolerate light frost, which sweetens the flavor noticeably. For continuous harvests, sow new seeds every 3 weeks throughout spring and fall. The 20th container crop we need to discuss is beets. These dual-purpose vegetables give you both nutritious roots and delicious greens from a single planting. Detroit Dark Red is the classic variety that performs consistently in containers across zones 3 through 10. The deep red roots and tender green tops make this one of the most productive crops per square inch of container space. Choose a pot at least 10 to 12 inches deep to allow proper root development. Sow seed clusters 1 inch deep and 1 inch apart, then thin to 3 inches apart once seedlings emerge. Each beet seed is actually a cluster containing multiple seeds, so thinning is essential. The greens tolerate partial shade remarkably well, though roots develop more slowly with less sunlight. Begin harvesting greens when they reach 4 to 6 inches tall by cutting outer leaves. Roots are ready when shoulders push an inch above the soil surface, typically in 55 to 70 days. Roasted beets and sautéed beet greens from the same harvest make a satisfying and economical meal. The 21st crop perfect for small containers is carrots. Most gardeners think carrots need deep garden rows, but choosing the right variety changes everything. Parisian Round produces small, round roots just 1 to 2 inches in diameter, perfect for containers as shallow as 6 inches. This French heirloom grows well in zones 3 through 10 and tolerates partial shade better than longer varieties. Fill your container with loose, fine potting mix, free of any chunks or debris that might cause forking. Sow the tiny seeds on the surface and cover with just an 1/8 inch of fine soil. Keep the surface consistently moist until germination, which takes 14 to 21 days. Thin seedlings to 2 inches apart once they develop their feathery tops. Partial shade slows growth, but produces sweeter roots because sugars develop gradually. Harvest these little gems in 50 to 60 days when shoulders show above the soil. The round shape and tender texture make them perfect for roasting whole or eating fresh right from the container. The 22nd crop on our list is Asian greens. This category includes several fast-growing vegetables perfect for containers and shade, but mizuna stands out as particularly reliable. This Japanese green produces deeply serrated leaves with a mild peppery flavor in zones 4 through 10. Mizuna practically ignores shade and thrives in conditions that would stress other vegetables. A container just 6 inches deep accommodates mizuna comfortably. Scatter seeds on the surface, cover lightly, and expect germination within a week. Thin seedlings to 4 inches apart or grow them closer for baby greens. The cut-and-come-again harvest method works perfectly with mizuna. Snip leaves an inch above soil level and new growth emerges within days. A single container provides multiple harvests over many weeks. Mizuna tolerates both heat and cold better than most salad greens, extending your growing season significantly. The delicate feathery leaves add beautiful texture to mixed salads and wilt nicely into soups and stir-fries. Few greens produce this reliably with this little fuss. The 23rd container crop worth growing is cherry tomatoes. Yes, tomatoes can produce in partial shade when you select the right variety. Tiny Tim is an ultra-dwarf cultivar growing just 12 inches tall, specifically bred for container growing in zones 4 through 11. This compact plant fits in pots as small as 6 inches across while producing clusters of sweet red fruits. Use a container at least 8 inches deep, filled with rich potting mix. Plant seedlings after frost danger passes and provide a small stake for support even though plants stay compact. Cherry tomatoes need at least 4 to 5 hours of direct sunlight, so position containers in the brightest part of your shaded space. Morning sun and afternoon shade works perfectly. Water consistently because fluctuating moisture causes blossom, end rot, and cracked fruits. Feed every 2 weeks with a balanced fertilizer once flowering begins. Harvest tomatoes when they turn fully red and detach easily from the stem. The flavor of homegrown cherry tomatoes, even from partial shade, surpasses anything from a grocery store. The 24th crop that fits beautifully in small containers is dwarf peppers. The variety I want to highlight here is actually Patio baby eggplant, which shares the same growing requirements and compact habit as miniature pepper plants. This diminutive variety reaches just 12 to 18 inches tall and produces full-sized eggplants on plants small enough for tabletop containers. It grows in zones 4 through 11 and tolerates filtered light better than standard eggplant varieties. Choose a container at least 10 inches deep and wide to support the root system. Plant seedlings after soil warms thoroughly in late spring. A small stake helps support branches as fruits develop because even compact plants can become top-heavy with produce. These miniature plants need at least 4 to 5 hours of sunlight, so morning light with afternoon shade works well in hot climates. Water deeply when the top inch of soil dries and feed every 2 weeks during fruiting. Harvest eggplants when skin appears glossy and fruits reach 2 to 3 inches long. Waiting too long produces seedy, bitter flesh. The 25th container crop on our list is tatsoi. This Asian green forms beautiful rosettes of spoon-shaped leaves that look almost too pretty to eat. Rosette tatsoi is naturally shade-loving and stays compact enough for the smallest containers in zones 4 through 10. The dark green leaves have a mild, creamy flavor similar to spinach, but with more substance. A container just 6 inches deep suits tatsoi perfectly. Sow seeds a 1/4 inch deep and thin seedlings to 4 inches apart for full rosettes, or grow them closer for baby greens. Germination happens quickly, usually within 5 to 7 days. Tatsoi genuinely prefers shade and actually struggles in hot sunny conditions where it bolts rapidly. Partial shade keeps plants producing for extended periods. Harvest outer leaves individually or cut entire rosettes an inch above soil level. When cut this way, plants often regrow for a second harvest. The thick leaves hold up well in stir-fries and add wonderful texture to salads. Few greens look this elegant while being this easy to grow. The 26th crop perfect for shaded containers is celery. Most gardeners consider celery difficult, but container growing actually simplifies many challenges. Tango is a naturally compact variety that produces flavorful stalks in partial shade across zones 4 through 10. The key is understanding that celery needs consistent moisture and cooler conditions, both of which containers in shade naturally provide. Use a deep container, at least 8 to 10 inches, with moisture-retentive potting mix. Start seeds indoors, 10 to 12 weeks before your last frost date, because celery grows slowly at first. Transplant seedlings 6 inches apart after hardening them off gradually. Celery originated as a marsh plant, so it tolerates shade and demands regular watering. Never let the soil dry out completely or stalks become tough and stringy. Feed every 2 weeks with a balanced fertilizer to support steady growth. Begin harvesting outer stalks when they reach 8 inches tall, leaving inner stalks to continue developing. The flavor of homegrown celery surpasses store-bought varieties dramatically, making the extra attention worthwhile. The 27th crop that surprises many shade gardeners is bush cucumbers. Spacemaster 80 was specifically bred for container growing and tolerates partial shade better than vining types. This compact variety produces full-size slicing cucumbers on plants that stay under 3 feet across in zones 4 through 11. The bushy habit eliminates the need for trellising while fitting comfortably on patios and balconies. Select a container at least 12 inches deep and wide to accommodate the substantial root system. Plant seeds 1 inch deep after soil warms or transplant seedlings carefully, because cucumbers dislike root disturbance. Position your container where it receives at least 5 hours of sunlight, ideally morning sun with afternoon shade in hot climates. Consistent watering prevents bitter fruits, so check soil moisture daily during hot weather. Feed every 2 weeks once flowering begins to support heavy fruit production. Harvest cucumbers when they reach 6 to 8 inches long and still have dark green skin. Checking plants daily prevents oversized, seedy fruits that drain energy from the plant. The 28th container crop is one most gardeners overlook entirely. Dwarf blueberries produce real harvests in containers and handle partial shade far better than their full-sized relatives. Top Hat grows just 18 to 24 inches tall and wide, fitting easily on a patio or balcony in zones 4 through 8. These compact bushes produce pint-sized harvests of full-flavored berries, while adding ornamental beauty with spring flowers and fall color. Blueberries require acidic soil, so use a mix specifically formulated for acid-loving plants or amend. Regular potting mix with sulfur. Choose a container at least 18 inches wide and deep to support this perennial shrub. Water with rainwater when possible, because tap water often contains minerals that raise soil pH over time. Blueberries need consistent moisture, but excellent drainage. Plant 2 different varieties nearby for better pollination and larger harvests. Patience matters with blueberries because plants take 2 to 3 years to reach full production. The wait rewards you with years of homegrown berries from a single container. The 29th container crop on our list is dwarf fig. Growing figs in containers might sound ambitious, but the right variety makes it surprisingly achievable. Little Miss Figgy stays compact at just 4 to 6 feet tall and produces sweet, dark purple figs in zones 7 through 11. This naturally dwarfed tree thrives on patios and can even be overwintered indoors in colder regions. Choose a container at least 18 to 24 inches wide and deep to support this small tree. Use well-draining potting mix and position the container where it receives at least 5 to 6 hours of sunlight. Though afternoon shade in hot climates prevents leaf scorch, water deeply when the top 2 inches of soil dry out. Figs are surprisingly drought-tolerant once established, but produce better with consistent moisture. Feed monthly during the growing season with a balanced fertilizer. Prune in late winter to maintain size and shape. Figs fruit on both old and new wood, so even pruned plants produce harvests. The satisfaction of picking fresh figs from your own patio cannot be overstated. The 30th and final crop on our list is dwarf raspberries. Raspberry shortcake is a revolutionary variety that produces thornless canes on plants just 2 to 3 feet tall, perfect for container growing in zones 4 through 8. This compact raspberry eliminates the sprawling, thorny mess of traditional varieties while delivering sweet, full-size berries. Select a container at least 18 inches wide and deep to accommodate the root system. Use rich, well-draining potting mix and position your container where it receives at least 5 hours of sunlight. Morning sun with afternoon shade works well in warmer zones. Water consistently because raspberries need regular moisture, especially while fruits develop. Feed monthly during the growing season to support cane growth and fruit production. Dwarf raspberries fruit on first-year canes, so you can harvest the same year you plant. Production increases in the second and third years as plants mature. Cut canes to ground level in late winter, and fresh productive canes emerge each spring. Few container fruits offer this combination of easy care and reliable harvests. And now for the bonus tip gardeners swear by. When growing crops in shaded containers, the color of your pot matters more than most people realize. Dark-colored containers absorb heat from whatever sunlight reaches them, warming the soil and roots inside. This extra warmth can boost growth significantly for plants in partial shade, essentially compensating for reduced light with increased soil temperature. Black or dark brown pots can raise soil temperature by 5 to 10 degrees compared to white or light-colored containers in the same location. For heat-loving crops like tomatoes, peppers, eggplant, and cucumbers, this temperature boost makes the difference between struggling plants and productive ones. However, flip this advice for cool season crops. Lettuce, spinach, and other greens actually perform better in light-colored pots that keep roots cool. Match your container color to your crop's temperature preference, and you gain a real advantage that costs nothing extra. This simple adjustment has helped gardeners succeed in challenging shade conditions for generations. Thanks for sticking with me through the entire video. If you found this helpful, give it a like, subscribe for more gardening tips, and check out our other videos on growing a better garden.